Ladies and gentlemen, I have a special announcement for you. In light of the Philly fanatic scandal going on here in Philadelphia, I have been asked to be the new mascot of the Philadelphia Phillies. What that means is every game, I'll be there with my Yankee jersey on, because I'm not wearing a Phillies jersey, people, let's be real. I'll do some dances on the dugout, I'll give a ball to a kid, we'll be best friends. I'll even stick my tongue out at people like the real fanatic. Blah. No, you're not feeling it? Good afternoon and welcome to the podcast. I'm Nick Drago. Coming up on the show today, I got a very special announcement. It's not about this, it's about my other podcast, but we'll talk about that later. We also have to talk baseball because a lot of baseball stuff has happened this week, including the trade deadline. And of course, NFL. Training camps are back, hence why I'm wearing my Jets jersey. I got to get the hype started now because the hype train's going to go woo as soon as the season starts. What that means is I'll just get really bored really quickly because the Jets stink. Whew. And we'll also talk about all the other fun stuff today. We got a little hockey. We got a little esports. We're going to talk esports today? Maybe just a little bit. And of course, our athlete of the week from the Athletics. Stay with us, friends, because sports starts now. And welcome to the Sports Podcast with me, your host, Nick Drago. If you haven't seen our show before, that's okay. Welcome. This is a new environment. It's happy for everybody. If you've never been here before, our goal is to provide you with all the sports news and information from the previous week while giving you some information on what's going to happen over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 years, whatever. If you like what you hear, you can find me on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, tweet, and the Facebook. Just type in sports with Nick Drago. You can also email me directly, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. I love hearing from fans, so feel free to send some stuff my way. We'll talk about it. Yeah, all that goobly gobbledy. All right, so my weekend was pretty darn fun. I was up in Bethlehem for Music Fest. A lot of good acts this year. I saw Steve Miller Band, which was great. They did an awesome job. So shout out to Steve Miller Band. That was a lot of fun. And then today we were at the Phillies game. We had box seats. We got all the free food. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time. Unfortunately, the Phillies were terrible. But hey, that's beyond the point. You know what? Why don't we let's start the show by talking about all the baseball games. We'll recap some of the games from this weekend. Let's start with the Phillies and the White Sox game for two reasons. One, I was there to watch it all unfold. But two, it just happened to be first in my list. No, the Phillies, they tried to keep it close. At one point in the game, it was 5-3. We thought maybe we'd actually see a ball game after that grand slam in the second inning. And then the White Sox went off, proving once again that the Phillies have no pitching. Yeah, you went out and got Corey Dickerson. You got Vargas. Great. You have nobody in the dang bullpen, people. So yeah, it might not happen for the Phillies getting the wild card, but we shall see. And for the Orioles, Trey Mancini helped lead the charge in the last two games. They split the series with the Blue Jays, but Mancini's 4 RBIs Saturday. He was a big bat for them on Sunday today. And so they ended up splitting this one. Really good weekend by the Indians. They got 3 wins over the Angels. Swept them. Of course, big shout out to Baker Mayfield, who chugged a beer at the Indians game, and then immediately the Indians went and scored 5 runs. So essentially, Baker is the new LeBron James for Cleveland. And the Rays had 2 cross-state games with the Marlins. They won both of them and swept the Red Sox. So that's 5 straight wins for them. 6, actually, because they beat the Blue Jays. And wait, who did they play before that? Yeah, so 6 straight wins for them. They also got Jesus Aguilar in the trade deadline. So not a bad pickup. All-star first baseman from the Brewers coming over to Tampa. And for the Reds, the Yasiel Puig experiment ends very quickly. They sent him over to the Indians. However, the Reds did manage to get Trevor Bauer out of it, so that was kind of nice. And they split a series with the Braves, one of the best teams in the NL, so that's even nicer. The Mets, meanwhile, they're in some other time zone land. I don't know. They're somewhere where the Mets win things. The Mets have won, 10 straight at this point? They got Stroman last week. That was huge. They traded away Vargas, another of their decent starting pitchers, for literally nothing. But then they went on this super hot streak. Oh no, they lost to the Pirates. I'm sorry. They lost to the Pirates on the second. So they did win 2 out of 3 against the Pirates, but they swept the White Sox. Who did they beat before that? They beat the Pirates again before that. So the Mets are, they're looking like a contender again. And after last week when I said they were probably done, I now feel embarrassed, and I can admit that. And for the Twins, they complete the sweep today. Devin Smeltzer getting his first ever start in the major leagues. And ended up being a shutout as the Twins beat the Royals not just today, but also 11-3 on Saturday and 11-9 on Sunday. And after the Astros scare the living bejeebus out of everybody this week by trading for Zach Greinke and really solidifying what's already been a super solid roster, they went out, they won, they beat the Mariners. Oh my gosh. Should I jump off a cliff? Astros beat the Mariners 3 straight games, swept them 10-2, 9-0, and 3-2-1. 3-1, they beat them today, all thanks to Justin Verlander at 10 strikeouts. That's right, 10 strikeouts, winning his 15th game of the season. And the Cubs sweep the Brew Crew this weekend. Brewers, at one point this season, they were looking like first place. Now those hopes seem to be diminishing more and more. Cubbies with a very nice, much-needed sweep. And the Rangers, they got a nice sweep over the, not quite yet as we speak. They won 5-4 on Friday, 5-4 on Saturday, and they're ahead 7-4 right now on Sunday. It's bottom of the 7th. Probably the Tigers aren't coming back from this one. Leclerc for the Rangers yesterday, after helping them win, he decided to try and launch a ball to a fan all the way up in the double decks and ended up clearing the roof of the stadium. When told about how high his pitch went, he replied with, too much power. And the Rockies and Giants had a series this weekend, with Rockies coming out on top, winning today 6-2. They did lose yesterday 6-5 to the Giants, but the Rockies won Friday's game 5-4. So 2-1 for the Rockies this weekend. A's and Cards, another game which has not come to an end just yet. Athletics did win Saturday night 8-3. I'm not sure why we have that weird halftime thing in there. We're gonna take this one up with Google. It's their system we're using here, or is it Bing? It's Bing. We're gonna take this one up with Bing. Come on, Bing. And then Athletics are currently ahead 2-1 in the 6th inning. I don't know math today. And the Diamondbacks throwing in the towel on this Greinke thing after, 2 seasons? They already traded him away. Nationals won Friday 3-0, but the Diamondbacks, man, did they explode. 18-7 yesterday. 18-7 against the Nationals, putting them in their place. D-backs then, they didn't win just yet today. It's 5-4 right now in the bottom of the 6th, likely going their way. But of course, the Nationals are a decent team, so it could really come back to bite them. And of course, we have the Dodgers. Dodgers, they won 2 of 3 so far against the Padres. They're tied right now in the bottom of the 5th inning. So again, this one could go either way. Either way, the Dodgers are way ahead of the field, and you'll see that when we look at the standings in a moment. And of course, Yankees, Red Sox. Can we talk Yankees, Red Sox for a minute? A week ago, I was miserable. All right, the Red Sox had almost swept the Yankees. I think they won 3 of 4 games, made us look horrible. Players were getting injured left and right. We then lost to the Diamondbacks. But Yankees have since won 3 straight against the Red Sox. All is right in the world, although we still have a lot of players that are on the A lot of players that are on the injured reserve. The Yankees, somehow this year, they've pulled it together with some real role players, and the injury bug has not slowed them down. They got to figure something out. You got to keep your guys healthy, dang it. But, hey, so far, so good. And since we're talking about the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the standings, why don't we look at those standings? As you can see, hear, and smell, if you're looking at the AL Central, the Twins are still on top by 3 games over the Indians, although the Indians have that first wild card slot. The other 3 teams, the White Sox, Royals, and Tigers, all have losing records and no chance to catch up. They're 20 games behind the White Sox. 20 games. At this point in the year, it's just not going to happen. Royals lost 6 straight. They are sorry, guys. Sorry. Moving into the East, Yankees on top. As we had said, they've won 4 straight. The Rays are really doing well right now. They have that second wild card team, so if the playoffs ended today, it would be the the Rays versus the Indians. Red Sox are now 6 back for the wild card after losing 7 straight games. Things are not all right in Boston land. Players had a meeting today. They're going to try and reset, and we'll see if they come back stronger from this. Royals and Blue Jays and Orioles. Apparently, I'm in a whole different league. Blue Jays and Orioles, they are they're out. They're going to be out. And then moving into the West, here you have the Astros on top by 9 games. The A's are only 1 back from the wild card, so there is a chance they could de-seat either the Rays or the Indians. The Rangers are 7.5 back. They got to do some more winning. They did win 3 straight. That's going to help them in their favor. Angels and Mariners. Angels aren't too far behind. They have the same number of wins as the Rangers. So there is the possibility that they have a chance. Mariners, probably not so much. So if the playoffs ended today, or the season ended today, you'd have the Rays and you'd have the Indians playing in a playoff game, right? And honestly, if you're looking at those 2 teams, the Indians, to me, have the better roster. They have a little bit more recent playoff experience, and so I would go with the Indians to beat the Rays. They will then, unfortunately, have to play the Astros, who I totally would pick the Astros in that series. There's no doubt in my mind about that. The other series were the Yankees and Twins, and, whenever these 2 play in the playoffs, it usually ends up going the Yankees' way. I know the Twins, they're heavy hitters. They're a tough opponent. But I would definitely go with the Yankees again on this one. Then when you look at the Yankees-Astros, and I know I've been saying this, now that we're getting close to the playoffs and we can start making guesses as to who we think is going to win these things. After the Astros got Greinke, I hate to say that they're the better team, but they are. The Yankees did nothing at the trade deadline to get better. They've lost too many players. And if things don't turn around, I could see this being a repeat of not last season, the season before, with maybe a 7-game series, Astros going on to the World Series for the AL. But that could change. You never know. Let's move to the National League. In the Central, Cubby Bears are on top right now for the Central. And the Cardinals, they have the second wild card slot. Cubs with that 3 wins in a row after sweeping the Brewers. Brewers have lost 4 straight. Reds are also kind of in there with six games back from the wild card. So are the Pirates. They're really not the favorites here, and so I'm not really expecting much from either one of them. But Cubs, Cardinals, Brewers, any one of those 3 teams could make the playoffs. Right now, though, Cubs, Cards. Eastern Division in the NL. Braves, of course, on top. Nationals would be that other wild card team. And then you got the Phillies, who are half game back for the wild card, 7 back for the division. And they got a lot stronger, I have to say. In the trade deadline, they have a nasty lineup. But like I said, relief pitching, that's going to be a problem. The Mets are the real interesting team here because they're only 3.5 back for the wild card. They've won 9 out of their last 10 games. They are looking good, and they're a team you're not going to want to mess with if they continue to win. The Marlins, no chance here. Sorry, Marlins fans. But Mets, Phillies, Nationals, any one of them could win the division. Let's see what happens there. Into the Western Division, the NL West, Dodgers, of course, on top, 16 games ahead of the Giants. Giants are 2.5 out for the wild card. Diamondbacks are 3.5 out. Padres and Rockies, they're starting to inch backwards. They're 7 and 7.5 games out, respectively. So for the NL, right, your leading teams right now, you have the Dodgers. Well, let's look at the wild card. You'd have the Nationals, right? The Nationals would be playing the Cardinals. And I like the Cardinals. I think they play in a tougher division. They have a strong lineup. The Nationals have really good pitching. I just don't think it's good enough. I would go with the Cardinals in a one-game series. Cardinals will then get their booties kicked by the Dodgers in that first round. And then Braves and Cubs. Ooh. I think I like the Braves. That's a tough series. Either way, I think Dodgers would beat either one of these teams. But I think Braves-Cubs could go either way. That's a 7-game series right now. Let's go with the Cubs, because they at least have the World Series advantage from a few years ago. Braves are still a younger team. They're just now sort of finding their footing. So let's go with the Cubs and Dodgers in a series, and then I think it'll be the Dodgers moving into the finals there. Now, before we move on, I have two things that I want to talk about. First, Mike Leake. So Mike Leake, he had that almost no-hitter, almost perfect game a couple weeks ago, and he was just recently traded to the Diamondbacks. And this is a huge thing for Mike because one, the Diamondbacks were obsessed with drafting him back in 2009 when he first was in the MLB draft. Didn't end up going there. He's bounced around the league a little bit. He's been with Seattle. And his father, he grew up in Arizona. His father lives in Arizona, and he's paralyzed. And so Mike has been dying to go back to play for the Diamondbacks so that, one, his dad can see him play locally, but two, so that he can help take care of his dad. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to Mike Leake. Congratulations on being traded to the Diamondbacks. I hope you spend the rest of your career there, because that's where you'd like to be. If you want to be somewhere else, that's fine too. But if that's where you want to be, I hope you spend a long and prosperous amount of time in Arizona. All right, the other piece of news, and I already mentioned this at the top of the show, but the Philly Fanatic, the Philadelphia Phillies, this is ridiculous, may lose the copyright to the Philly Fanatic? What? Okay, so the Philly Fanatic was designed by a New York-based company. I believe they make costumes, Muppets, things like that, called Harrison and Erickson. Is that what it's called? Hold on. Harrison Erickson. Okay. Anyway, the Phillies Fanatic started, I think, in 1978, around that time. And just last June, Harrison Erickson sent a notice to the Phillies saying that the copyright is running out and that they, the New York company, Harrison Erickson, they have the right to terminate the contract if a new deal is not in place. So in 2020, they could say to the Phillies, nope, you can't use this anymore. Which to me baffles me that the Phillies didn't think this was happening, A, and that Harrison Erickson just sat on this for how many years before saying, oh, we should totally hold this over their heads. Well, the Phillies are obviously going to sue them because while they did design the Fanatic itself, they didn't design any of the other any of the materials that go along with the Fanatic, his jersey, his cap, and the Phillies feel that they were a big piece in that design. And so they have the rights to at least fight this. It'll go into court, and it'll likely be settled. I mean, how could the Phillies not have the Fanatic? Even if they have to pay millions of dollars, they're going to keep this mascot around. You're talking about literally the greatest mascot in all of sports. So, I don't expect him to go anywhere. Don't expect, like, all the other teams in the league start coming up with their own Philly Fanatic. You're going to see one at every stadium, except for Yankee Stadium. They do not do mascots there. Trust me. We tried. His name was Dandy back in the 70s, and fans beat him up in the parking lot. But you're going to start seeing, like, the Braves Fanatic, and it's literally the same thing, but maybe with, like, a tomahawk on his head. Or the Padres Fanatic. Again, same thing, but maybe he's wearing, like, a preacher's robe or something. I don't know. I'm just saying that it would be absolutely ridiculous. I don't think it's going to happen, so why don't we just move on from this, and we'll laugh about it next year or the year after when we start seeing Fanatics at every stadium. And with that, let's take a commercial break. All right? I think that's good with you. That's good with me. When we return, we're going to talk football. Tom Brady, did he seriously get a contract extension? We're going to talk about that and Ezekiel Elliott and some more stuff. Stay with us, friends, because sports. We will be right back.
Hey everybody, it is Jayme Grumm here. I am just trying to introduce you to a new podcast that I will be in with my friend Nick Drago. It is called Big Spoon, Little Spoon, and what we're going to do is just pick a random topic out of a hat, talk about it, see if we can learn anything, and just have a little fun. So if you want to contact us, see us, we are going to be on Facebook, Twitter. You can email us at wehateforks@gmail.com, and you can also find us on all of your favorite podcast apps. Look forward to seeing you.
They're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
And welcome back to the show. As you can see, I have to put my glasses on. It's time for me to read things off the screen of my phone because I'm blind. Literally, these things are like ridiculously strong. All right, let's talk a little bit about the NFL. A lot of interesting stories came up this week. Starting with Steven Jackson. Jackson played most of his career with the Rams. Really long-term player there, and decided before he retires, he's going to sign a one-day contract to remain with the squad. And after signing that one-day contract, he was called in for a drug test, which is pretty ridiculous, if you ask me. But obviously, Mr. Jackson, Steven Jackson, taking it in pride, no big deal. Jordy Nelson officially retires from the NFL. He was with the Packers for a long time, decided to sign... did the Packers draft him? Yeah, he did. They did. So he's been in the league for quite a few years. Since 2008, Jordy officially retired at Packers, signing a one-day contract with them. Sorry, is that a little loud? Okay, moving on. Raiders' Antonio Brown. After all the hubbub with Antonio Brown, he's day-to-day. Not listed on the injury list just yet. Hopefully things are okay, but he had a little bit of a scare in training camp. So he saw a foot specialist Saturday. I think he's going to be all right. But we'll see what happens. The Raiders are really going to need him. Tom Brady. Did Tom Brady really sign a 2-year contract extension? I am so angry about this. No, honestly. Thomas Brady, if you can hear me out there, why would you do that? Nobody wants you to keep playing in the dang league. Tom signs a two-year $70 million contract extension. So that'll keep him with the Patriots until at least 2021. The guy's 44 years old. He has said he would like to play till he's 45. This is going to let him not only do that, but do that till he's like 46. They'll probably win 2 more Super Bowls in that span, maybe 3. And I think players everywhere are just crossing their fingers for 2021 for Tom Brady to finally retire. Me being a Jets fan, I have to watch him beat up on my team twice a week, and it's not pretty. It really isn't. Yannick I always mess up this name. Ngakoue. Let's go with Ngakoue. For the Jags, they did not end up settling his little mini camp dispute, but he's returning to the team, so he'll earn just over $2 million. This is the final year of his rookie contract. The dude wants to get paid. The dude deserves to get paid. But he'll just have to wait. Jags definitely in need of their star pass rusher, and hopefully they come up with something. Speaking of holdouts, Ezekiel Elliott. What's going on with this guy? Honestly, I'm going to move this. Let's move this. Okay. Ezekiel Elliott, what the heck is going on here? So Zeke, I don't even, what do I even say about this? Ezekiel Elliott is the running back supreme. He is the guy the Cowboys need if they want to win the Super Bowl. They are 500, right? They're even when he does not play. They need him on the field if they want to win. He's holding out of camp. He definitely wants to get paid, and the dude deserves it. He's probably the best running back in the league right now. And really, Jerry Jones is just sitting there in his castle, just twiddling his thumbs and waiting. The last time Jerry Jones twiddled his thumbs and waited was with Emmitt Smith just after they won the 92 Super Bowl. Emmitt Smith literally carried the team on his back and wanted to get paid, and Jerry Jones sat and waited. Guess what happened? They lost their first two games of the 93 season, and they ended up having to give the money to Emmitt Smith. They did win the Super Bowl that year as well. But, I think you'd think Jerry Jones would learn from previous experience. Doesn't look like he has, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. All right. Moving on to some sad news. Cliff Branch, longtime Raider, passed away this weekend. The Raiders released a statement that says, Cliff Branch touched the lives of generations of Raiders fans. His loss leaves an eternal void for the Raiders family, but his kindness and loving nature will be fondly remembered forever. Cliff's on-field accomplishments are well documented and undeniably Hall of Fame worthy, but his friendship and smile are what the Raider Nation will always cherish. So to Cliff Branch's family, we give you our regards. It's never good to see something like this. And perhaps, I don't believe Cliff Branch is in the Hall of Fame. No, he's not in the Hall of Fame, but it's very likely that he will be. Next year, the Hall of Fame is planning to announce 10 senior-era players that they're going to be admitting, and there's no doubt in my mind that Cliff Branch will be one of them. But we'll have to wait and see on that. All right. Before we take one last commercial break, joining me on the show to make a special announcement is the young gun, Jayme Grumm. Now, you might remember Jamie's been on the show in the past, especially last summer. We had him answering a lot of ridiculous trivia questions. We have not had him on recently, but that's okay. And the reason that's okay is because him and I have a special announcement. But we're just going to toss it right over to him. So join us, Jamie, won't you?
And here he is, ready to join us, young gun, Jayme Grumm. How are you doing, Jamie?
How's everyone doing today?
Are you ready to talk about our podcast?
I am ready to talk about the podcast.
So what?
I've been eagerly awaiting this one for a while now.
Oh, yeah. Yes! Yes! I'm so pumped.
Yes.
What's it called again? I forget sometimes.
We are Big Spoon, Little Spoon.
Oh.
And you can find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Nice. Our Twitter is at Big Little Spoon, and our Facebook page is, I think, just at Big Spoon Little Spoon. Right? It's a big yellow logo. It's got a little.
I really tried to get them both on Twitter, but I guess someone really likes to spoon.
There's a lot of spooners on Twitter. Lot of spooners out there. So if you're interested in hearing Jamie and I talk about all kinds of random nonsense and loveliness, then
we may spoon once or twice and do a little ASMR.
Oh, there's a lot of that happens. Lots of it. Yeah. But if you're interested, when is our premiere? When can they find us, Jamie?
We will be releasing our first podcast. Will be coming out on
Thursday. I like it. Thursday night. So, ladies and gentlemen, Thursday night will be the premiere of the podcast. Find us on Twitter and Facebook and enjoy our lovely voices. Jamie, thank you so much for joining me. And have a lovely night. Go get some dinner. I know Michelle's patiently waiting. Go get dinner.
All right. Thank you.
Love you.
Bye.
All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we return, we're going to talk a little bit about basketball and hockey. because I love both sports, and we're going to have to talk about them. But we're also going to talk esports. Yes, that's a thing. We're going to talk about it. And, of course, our athlete of the week, coming from Oakland, California. Stick with us, friends. Sports. Whew, we are going to be back. It's going to be fun.
Has this ever happened to you? You're out late, maybe you're having a little bit of fun, maybe there's a cute girl over there, and you look down and you realize, I forgot to wear my pants today. It happens to me all the time, I swear. Well, do I have the product for you? It's Pants App. It's an app that you press a button and somebody comes by with pants. Just delivers them right to you. He'll even help you put them on for a little additional fee. And his tip is really just zipping up the pants yourself. You don't even have to tip the guy. Okay, that's a really bad idea. But you know what would be a better one? Your own idea. If you have something you want to advertise on our show, please email me, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. We're always looking for some folks who want to promote their business. So again, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com.
And welcome back to the show, friends. A couple things that I thought were interesting this week in basketball land. I saw a funny, I wouldn't call it funny, it just thought-invoking graphic this week about, how do I describe this? Players in the playoffs. It was a list of potential game-tying / goal-ahead field goals, some of the best players in NBA history, and where they rank. And when you had guys out there like Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, LeBron, Durant, Kobe, with so Michael Jordan in a potential game-tying situation, the guy's shooting 50%. Curry's 40%. LeBron's 37%. Those are fantastic percentages. Then you look at Russell Westbrook and James Harden, the new double duo best friend forever squad, whatever you want to call it, on the Houston Rockets. In game-tying or go-ahead field goal situations, Russell Westbrook is 1-9. James Harden is 1-11. Between the two of them, they have only made 2 out of 20 attempts for a game-tying field goal in the playoffs. That is crazy. So essentially what you're going to see is a strong showing by them in the regular season, but if they get into trouble in the playoffs, I'm not expecting either one of those guys to really be to push them over the edge. If it's an even game, you're playing a team like the Warriors or the Lakers now, you're not gonna. Who do you give the ball to with a second left? Do you give it to the 11% shooter Westbrook or the 9% shooter in James Harden? I don't know, and I don't know what to tell you. So Houston, listen, I don't see them going super far this year, but they got a good team for sure. They'll probably have a very good regular season. In NHL world, after years, literally years, the Coyotes finally have an owner. That's right. The Coyotes were bought out by Alex Meruello. Let's say it like that. Meruello. Who purchased 95% ownership stake from the former majority owner, Andrew Barroway. Barroway will return 5% of ownership. And you know, this is a little sad because for years the NHL has been committed to keeping the team in Arizona. What's cool is that Alex Meruello is the first Hispanic majority owner in NHL history. I like that. That's awesome. Arizona is a great spot. A lot of hit my headphones there. To me, it's a big deal. Arizona has a large Hispanic culture, and so having an owner like that, maybe he will be more committed. The problem is he has no ties whatsoever to Arizona, so what would stop him from moving the team to, let's say, Quebec and bring back the Nordiques?
I don't know. For years, they've been focused on keeping this team in Arizona. It makes sense to have a team there. You have so many snowbirds. You have really no interest in hockey whatsoever. Honestly, like when I lived there for a few months, and they don't care about hockey. The Coyotes, none of that stuff. So it's really cool that they finally have an owner, and maybe it'll bring some stability to this franchise. But realistically, move them to Quebec, move them to Hartford, bring back the Whalers. I should have worn my Hartford shirt today. Either way, good on you. All right, I want to talk about esports. Whether you think esports is a sport or not, that's up to you. Honestly, I couldn't get into it because it's individual players playing video games. And so I thought to myself, why is that entertaining? Why would I want to sit and watch somebody else play a video game? Well, it's the same reason I want to sit and watch somebody else play golf. I suck at it, but maybe if I watch Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson play, I'll get better at it. Or it's just dang entertaining to watch somebody not hack the ball 400 yards in one direction. That's where I come on the Overwatch League. This is an actual league. It's set up like a sports league. You have teams that are based in cities, and it's interesting. I haven't watched any of it. There's some going on right now. What if I click this live button? Hold on. Okay, hold on. We're gonna tune in right now to some live Overwatch. This is awesome. You could literally just go right on their website. Can we get some volume?
There was never a time where
Here we go.
you think that he had an opportunity to turn a fight around or to make a play. Like, he was that good throughout the series.
So this is a matchup right now between the Vancouver Titans and the Washington somethings. Either way, so here they are. They're literally talking about video games and statistics and everything I like about sports, but it's video game form. And I think that's dang cool. And there we go. There's some movement happening. Yeah, you can literally just go to their website and you can watch all these matches and everything else. So what I found what really piqued me interested about this is that they're building an arena here in Philly. There's an actual team, the Philadelphia Fusion. It's a team of electronic athletes. Is that what we call them? And they play together and they support the city of Philadelphia is meant to support them. They're getting their own arena here in Philly, right next to Citizens Bank and the Link. And if you're not okay with that, then you're gonna have a problem because that industry is huge. They're probably making a lot more money than some of these. They're making a lot more money than Miami Marlins. Let's put it that way. Either way. With that, I think that this esports thing, maybe this could be a thing. We're going to try it. I'm going to try it. And if I don't like it, then who cares? I don't like it. All right. Was that the last thing? No, I'm just kidding. There's our athlete of the week. Let me pull that up here for you. So this dude, all right, I'm going to give you his name here in a moment. Nathan Patterson. That's it. He was at a Rockies game, and at the game, they had one of those like pitch counter things just for fun. So he decided to do it, and he threw a 96 mile per hour pitch. 96. There are major league players that don't hit that number. Right there, being able to throw that fast, it's pretty good. Oakland responded quickly and actually signed the 23-year-old to a contract. So, hey, I was pretty happy with that. I'm happy to hear that. Hold on one second. Of course, the young gun Jayme Grumm had one last comment that he had to make, but he's going to have to save it for another time. He'll have to save it for a show. All right, cool. 23-year-old Oakland signed him to a contract. I got super distracted. Let's just end this show off. What do you think? I'm okay with that. Special thanks to Johanna Drago. She's the logo designer, content designer, and she's the set designer of logo designer, set designer, and content editor. I said content designer. Ooh, that's a fancy job. content editor of this podcast. So special thanks to her. The music you heard is a song called Golden Sunrise by Josh Woodward. A link to his website can be found in the show notes. Special thanks to our social media warriors, Mary Kay Albert, Joe Calabro, Lois Butler, Jorge Pajares, who by the way has his own podcast. Where's my note? It's called Off the Bench. You should check it out. It's awesome. Sometimes he does our show, and eventually I'll be doing his show. And then another new podcast, Lightning Shark Bloodbath. That one will be coming out soon. I'll have more details as details arrive. But that should be a fun one too. Lightning Shark Bloodbath. I love the name. I love it. All right. And then my own podcast, Big Spoon, Little Spoon, premiering this Thursday. Just go to your Google, type in Big Spoon, Little Spoon. Go to Facebook and Twitter and all those things. Type in Big Spoon, Little Spoon, and you should find it. Or, I have to get the whole list of this thing. Jayme will know. Jayme remembers. It's all on there. All right, anyway, and then for this podcast, Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, just type in Sports with Nick Drago. You'll find me. You'll find our logo. It says Sports. Got a star in the middle. Like it, comment, share, email, tweet at us, and all that fun doo-doo stuff, because I love this doo-doo stuff. All right, am I having a heart attack? No, we're still working. We're still working here. All right, listen, that's it. I got to go prepare for my shtick at the Phillies game, because we know the Fanatic's going to be out of there soon. So I'll see you guys there. Have a good night, friends. Thank you for joining me. And, of course,